Everyone says the Romanian deadlift is the real hamstring builder, and the regular deadlift is just everything else. The actual EMG research says that's not quite true, and the real difference between these two lifts isn't the one you think it is. This movement, bending at the hips, not the spine, to lift something heavy off the ground, isn't a gym invention. It's the single most repeated movement pattern in human history. Picking up water, firewood, children, prey, all of it ran through this exact hinge. Anthropologists studying movement patterns in non-industrialized populations still see this hip-dominant hinge as the default way people bend, not the rounded back slump most modern people default to. Modern life barely asks you to bend under load anymore, so when you finally do, most people round their spine instead of hinging their hips because the pattern's gotten rusty. That's a big part of why I tweaked my back picking something up is such a common injury story. It's rarely about the weight itself. It's about a hinge pattern that's forgotten how to fire correctly. So here's what the actual research found. One well-cited study measured EMG activity and found the conventional deadlift produced significantly higher quad and glute activation than the RDL. That part matches what most people assume. But here's the twist. Newer research comparing hamstring activation specifically between the two found no statistically significant difference. The numbers lean toward the RDL, but not by enough to call it a clear winner. What is different, and consistently so, is knee angle. In an RDL, your knees barely bend, 15 to 30 degrees. In a conventional deadlift, your knees bend to around 85 degrees. That's the real mechanical split between these two lifts. Not which one wins for hamstrings, but how much of the load moves through your knees versus your hips. Your ancestors used this exact straight leg hinge constantly. It's the most natural way to load your hamstrings and glutes without your knees ever needing to travel far. So here's the real answer. If you want maximum total body loading, quads, glutes, grip, traps, spinal erectors all working together, the conventional deadlift wins, and it lets you move more total weight. If you want a controlled, joint-friendly way to build the hip hinge pattern and target your hamstrings and glutes directly without your knees doing much work, the RDL is the better tool. A simple way to use both. Conventional deadlift as your main heavy lift once a week. RDLs afterward for 3 sets of 8 to 10 to reinforce the hinge and finish off the posterior chain. And if your back tends to round on conventional deadlifts, start with RDLs first. They're far more forgiving for relearning the hinge pattern before you load it heavy from the floor. There's a reason your body still remembers this movement, even if modern life made you forget it. If that kind of thing interests you, subscribe. Every video here digs into why your body works against your goals and what actually to do about it.